All right, so here we are. New camera set up. I put several holders, tripods, pieces of different ones together to get to this one that so far is being. But yeah, every time I try to write, I've got quite a few things here that are related to the matrix, to the world we live in. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter. So, as I've said, I passed my third TOEFL exam. I am doing now another 2 parts of the same course that involves business and online, which online was part of the previous part as well, but now it's more detailed, I believe, on talking about tools and whatnot. But it's irrelevant. I have one day I got really excited to talk about brands, because I have a few brands that I followed since I was a kid. There are others that I never really cared. So it will be eventually a nice talk. But, however, today I decided to put the camera on to talk about some points of view, some perspectives, I think. Recently I have, so I think I'll put this on the podcast. I have recently watched a couple of podcasts from Deepak Chopra and Dr. Deepak Chopra. And, I believe because of what I've been researching and whatnot, I've been getting a lot of that content. And as I said, why do I say that it doesn't really matter? Because as I have already mentioned here, I have been going through, everybody goes through some mental issues. Some people care to understand it, and some others just prefer to not address it. Some others hide with alcohol, drugs, and sugar, and there are several ways to change their mindset. To flip it to a. In fact, that's a practice that we do, and it's kind of like, imagine you have the computer, the tabs open. So whenever one tab opens that it's bad, you should, as soon as possible, cover it with a good tab. It's kind of like overlay it. This is what basically drugs and, and I'm not talking only about regular ones, like, the illegal ones. I'm talking about this stuff as well. So, yeah, it's a lot. It's easier, but at the same time harder, because as I said to my students, it's easier to work with your hands than work with your brain, you know? And in the process of learning, like if you're gonna learn something, handcraft or something, it's one thing. But if you wanna learn something that it's only like information processing, computing stuff, only, mainly, instead of have less computation and more mechanical work. So the mechanical work, it's rather easier, the computation is very little and you give the information, but when it's all involving computation over computation, that gets a bit harder, right? And then, as I said, a lot of people decide to not, go for that path, not look for that, not try to understand or, yeah, learn how to deal with it instead of hide and run away from it. But yeah. So then, since it's been over a year that I am alcohol free, I still do THC. Sometimes I don't want to do the pills because they take too much out of me, and so THC kind of, it's not, it's still, I have to deal with a lot, but allows me to be functional, you know, which has been very important to me to keep my brain going with everything that is been going on out there. I say out there because I've been literally in this cave for the past year and studying, and I was, again now looking for useless information or files that I have lost during a backup, because I wanted to count how many like online course certifications I have gathered in this year, because there were quite a few, especially those LinkedIn courses, just literally to gain some information about some topics. But yeah, so Deepak Chopra, he, talks all about, he kind of combines a bit of uh, let's say, science with philosophy and religion in some ways, I think. And in trying to understand if we are in a simulation or not, I believe we are. And that's when I start to think about that. That's when I start to think like that nothing else, all of this is just things we do to keep ourselves busy. And, as I've said, I teach English. I have some students that I gave them scholarships, and as at least, I'm doing something in pro of humanity. But at the same time, when you study about this and you understand, because it's very simple, it's so simple that it's hard to understand for some, or it takes quite a bit of reading. I'm not fully, but I kind of believe now that we are in a simulation, that none of this really matters. We could have been gone into the direction of living in a, like, that movie Avatar, when the blue fellas living in, I forgot the name of the planet or the word. And I believe that there was one dimension that's real, exists somewhere, because in that simulation, the humans decided to cooperate instead of kill each other for something, even though there are the bad ones in the middle, but not as bad as what we are experiencing, I think. And what he said that really kind of calmed me down a bit, make me feel like a sense of relief, was when he mentioned that the reason why we don't fully understand, and maybe we will never fully understand, as if, for example, now we are, in my point of view, or you know what I believe is that we are creating ourselves. We are creating. AI is here already, AGI, and all this intelligence. I believe it's going to get to a point where, I mean, they are already biomechanic and all that already. It's all over. And but what he said is that we will never understand fully, because we cannot see from a different perspective. We are within this simulation, so we can kind of get it like, okay, this is a simulation, but what's out there? And it's kind of like, maybe it's not even out there, maybe the universe is also in a huge box or something. I know, as I said, it sounds crazy. I mean, it sounds crazy for what we have been indoctrinated and taught. Yeah, that sounds crazy. But if you take some time to think about it, it's not that crazy. Way easier to believe than everything being created by a man in 6 days or whatever. This is all part of the game within the simulation. All these religion games and stuff. Some of them, they actually tell you things that are useful and benefic to your well-being through this journey, if you may. But still, it's mainly a manipulation and something also to keep your mind with ease. So it's also part of the simulation for that. It gives like peace of mind to some. They have to believe in something to find this peace of mind. When in the end of the day, the peace of mind is on understanding that that's it. That you come here, you do what you gotta do, try to be nice to the others, and enjoy, have fun, do something. So when he said that, I think he even mentioned analogy of an ant or the ants, that they are there on their world. They are not aware about the news or about the war in countries or about uh, sharks in New Zealand. They are not aware of that. They are aware of what they have to be aware of. So it's kind of us. There is a limitation, and we can't bypass that. So yeah, that's my thought for today. As usual, controversial, deep, sounding like a fantasy story. But yeah, that's what I've been digging at a lot. Because when I really start to read about trauma and this and that also makes me believe that this is something that is there to make you be thinking about that, so you don't move forward. because again, the pills that they give you make you a zombie. So, and then I was thinking maybe how it is like, to find a therapist, for example, that will agree and maybe tell me the truth. I would have to have a lot of money because those guys, the public service or what's available with lower cost and free sometimes is there just to make you stop thinking, and get back to the matrix. You know, I think there are some alternative options out there. I know. I am looking for some of that as well. But again, by reading and yeah, by making my computation and finding some outcomes of what I've been reading and listening to, that's that's what I have come up with. So that's it. About 15 minutes, another video. 700 people and counting down, unfortunately, but hey, c'est la vie. I am feeling a lot more relieved because before I was fully in here thinking I need to make money out of here. Now I have opened up my horizon, I have stretched the line a little bit, and I am finding different ways to make my income. Still here on the computer though, not through YouTube channels. If eventually happens. But one thing I have also found out that these it slaves you a little bit. So my mind is changing. As I said, I am here to learn and to evolve. So before I was really into it, but if you really expect to have all that from social media and YouTube and stuff, it's a lot of commitment as well. So I'd rather keep it easy. Come here, meet the people on the go, and not rely on giving my life to these to need to earn a living. I am learning other things on the digital world that I can do some work, earn enough, and then this becomes what it should be. That is my channel to chat about my life and what's going on. Okay, so let me know what you think. Do you believe in that simulation story that we can't go over our limitations of perception? If not, what do you think? What do you believe? See you around.